Everyone here, I'm sure, has stubbed their toe or rolled an ankle, and maybe even broken a bone or two. Well, for me, I've done all of that. And along the way, I've found the importance of being hurt and injured, and their true meanings. Let's start with where it all began. A simple sprained ankle. I don't recall exactly how, but it was somewhere in first or second grade, and I was limping around on it, and it didn't feel very good. But then we went to the doctor, and she said limping on it's only going to make it worse. So I pretended to walk it off as best I could, and she taped it up. But I had a wrestling tournament that night, and the picture on the left is how I did at that wrestling tournament. I won it. Around that same time, I learned that Mellow Yellow and chips don't mix before a wrestling tournament, and I threw up all over in the Castleton bathroom. We had to clean it up, and I was faced with the decision of either to continue wrestling or to go home. And I decided to continue wrestling, and I won that tournament also. Now let's look at the definition. Dictionary.com says that the definition of hurt is to cause bodily injury to. Meanwhile, the definition of injured is to do or cause harm to, or damage, hurt, or impair. Which, in my mind, I'm thinking those are basically the exact same thing. There's hardly any difference. So I turn over to my next source, Tim Miller, who was my Express Wrestling coach at the time when I first heard the words hurt and injured. He told a story about how they're different, and as you can about imagine, I don't remember much any of it. So I went and I asked him again. And he said it's simple. The difference between hurt and injured: if you're hurt, you can wrestle, and if you're injured, you can't. Now let's dive back into high school. Freshman year, I broke my arm against Billy Ward and didn't place at state. I wasn't ready, I wasn't in shape, and it just wasn't good. Sophomore year rolls around, and I ended up with my first knee surgery. During football, I slipped, and my meniscus and MCL tore, and I ended up with a knee surgery, but I didn't make it back for much any of football, and then I was good to go by wrestling, and at the holiday tournament here in Valley, I was wrestling a kid by the name Mason Johnson, and he shot in on my knee, and it popped again, and I knew it wasn't good, but I had to win that match in order to place at the holiday. So I did what it took to win that match, and after that, I ran to the wrestling room, and I just started crying because I thought my season was over, and for the second year in a row, I wasn't going to place at state. But it really wasn't that bad, and we ended up doing blood flow restriction for rehab to get me back into shape and to get me going. And for those of you that know what blood flow restriction is, it's terrible. 3 days before state, I was good to go, and then I caught influenza. Didn't even leave my bed. This picture is me 2 days before state at the clinic. I passed out. I wasn't hardly even able to move, and it was terrible. I was faced with the decision of either to wrestle at state or to just call it quits for the year and not place yet again. I decided to show up to state the next day, and I wasn't in good shape at all, and it was terrible. I shut in like 5 pounds underweight, and I had nothing left in me, but I eventually made it to the blood rounds where I was able to either win and place or lose and go home. And in a very close match against a senior who I thought I would never beat, I had beat him. And it was such a big match that when I got done, I looked up and my mom was even crying. After that match, I got off the mat and I collapsed and I was exhausted. But I still had another match to place, and in that match, it was against Mason Johnson again. But I placed 7th because he medically forfeited out of the tournament. Junior year, football, knee surgery number 2. I was playing offense and popped my other knee this time. And I thought, well, that's not good. So I ended up not playing the rest of the year. I missed the last 2 games. And I tried playing a little bit of defense after I had torn it right away, but I was too slow. So I just ended up getting taken off and had my next surgery. Didn't rehab, anything like that. I ended up with 5th at wrestling that year, which was all right, but it still wasn't good enough for me. Now it's for my senior year. As many of you know, I broke my hand this summer, had another surgery on that one. I broke my thumb week 1 of football, and I just clubbed it up, played with that, and then I broke another finger in the middle of football and played with that and taped it up. I played through both of those because I knew I didn't want to miss any of my senior year, and I knew how much it meant to me and all my teammates. So now that you've heard my story, next time you're either throwing up in a gymnasium bathroom or just breaking a few bones, ask yourself the simple question: are you just hurt? Are you really just hurt, or are you injured?